This is WLGG 88.1 FM, Asbury Park.
We all can agree that raising a family in these times is challenging, with everything being so exposed and accessible through social media and the influence that come along with it. How do we find the balance?
Does your child feel confined and has no outlet?
Sasha, meet me in the bathroom so we can take our Instagram pics, because once I get home, they won't let me out.
Would your child come to you when they need help?
Mom, I'm in trouble and I don't know what to do.
Do you know the signs when your child is crying out for help?
Nicholson, you don't listen. The school has called me and now I have to attend another school meeting. This time you lose your video games for 2 months.
Do you and your family need access to resources?
I lost my job. How will we get our bills paid?
Does your family have expectations and boundaries for mutual respect and understanding?
I am the man of the house, but my family does not respect me.
Finally, a show where families can feel supported and get resources for guidance during these troubled times. Presented to you by Good News Community Action. Family Matters, a radio show, aired every Saturday afternoon from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. A new segment discussing all things and situations relating to families. Family Matters Discussions, a radio show for everyone to listen together.
Good afternoon, Good News family. Welcome to Family Matters, the radio program designed to actively engage you in meaningful discussions that will promote communication, education, empowerment, encouragement, and elevation of our families on Good News Radio 88.1 FM. My name's Elna. Thank you so much for being here today. I hope you guys had a wonderful week and things are going well for you. So I'm just glad to be here again on another beautiful Saturday, though it's a little windy. It's okay. We're living and breathing. We have our health, and some would say we are in our right mind. So we thank God for that. So I'm alone again today. But we know that our co-host, who was here at the beginning of the program, wishes to be here. However, he has to pay some bills. So so when work calls, you have to go, right? So today is our second Saturday of the month. We are going to discuss a topic on health and wellness. We're going to discuss thyroid news that we feel that you guys need to be aware of. It's good to know about, what's going on in our bodies and what we can do to prevent some of the things that occur to us. So let me greet our Haitian Creole speaking listeners. Bonsoir tout le monde. Nous saluons bien fort. Bienvenue dans Affaires Famille. Moi, c'est Elnam, c'est animateur pour après-midi. Nous te merci parce que vous écoutez Radio Bonne Nouvelle 88.1 FM, Good News Radio Bonne Nouvelle. Nous te merci encore parce que vous attendez nous. Nous souhaitons que tout le monde ait passé une bonne semaine. Nous continuons là ensemble avec nous chaque samedi vers 4h à 5h et puis répéter encore jeudi dimanche 3h pour 4h. M'a tout dit nous qui gens qui nous attendent parce que nous avons plusieurs gens qui nous attendent programme là. Si que ou gagne internet ordinateur calé dans goodnewsradiotv.com, si que ou gagne Facebook ou calé dans WY Good News Radio. Si ke ou gen téléphone pour rele, ou ka rele 518-906-1596. So we thank all of our listeners who are listening on the website, goodnewsradiotv.com, those who are listening on Facebook, WYGG Good News Radio, and those who are dialing in to listen to 518-906-1596. So we thank all of you for being here with us. We just encourage you, if you are listening on Facebook, to leave us a comment, like us, give us a thumbs up, and follow us on Facebook. There are other programs on this radio. The radio is 24/7, 7 days a week. There's always something on, so you are more than welcome to join in and listen in whenever you feel free to do so. And we also remind you that the radio is listener supported, so we ask you for your financial support, which you can mail to 414 Asbury Avenue, Asbury Park, or you can cash app to 908-489-9820. Nous besoin faire nous connaître que radio li supporté par de moun k'ap tande radio si que nous voulons supporter ensemble avec l'argent nous ka voyer dans 414 Asbury Avenue dans Asbury Park, ça c'est adresse radio, ou bien nous ka aller sur cash app sur numéro 908 489 98 20. So again, welcome everyone to Family Matters on 88.1 Good News Radio. Again, I'm Elna, and it's my privilege and my honor to be with you today. So I prayed all of you made out well this past week with the storm that we had. Although in this area, we didn't see any snow, but it was raining and very windy, and some people had flooding in their homes or in their basements or in their communities. And so we hope that you were able to handle those situations and that all is well with you. And today, again, it appears to be very windy. So I say, buckle up, good people, and don't worry about anything because you're children of God and God's got you. Okay, so before we get started with our topic, I do have a couple of announcements for you. First of all, you guys know that I always have resources. I'm always looking for employment opportunities because that's how we're going to thrive, is for us to be employed. Because if we're not employed, then we're not able to pay our bills. We're not able to have a place to live. So we have to start with employment. And when you have a leg up, we also encourage you to not only be employed, but for you to open up a business so you can make money on your own and be your own boss. That is ultimately what we want everyone to be doing. But until you get there, here are some employment opportunities. Goodyear in Eatontown is hiring. They are looking for a service manager, and they want you to apply today. You can go to goodyear.greatjob.net and apply for the service manager position. Goodyear na Eatontown ap chercher un manager de service. Yo besoin pour aller sur internet là, ou ka mette Goodyear li appelé GOODYEAL. Mettez ça, puis mettez Eatontown, ça c'est dans cité côté lien, et puis vous chercher travail ça pour appliquer pour les si que nous avons travail dans Goodyear dans Eatontown, New Jersey. Navicore Solutions is hiring. They are looking for a part-time worker, 20 to 25 hours per week. The pay is $16.59 an hour. You can email ivanev@navicoresolutions.org to inquire about this job. Navicore a un travail que you hire pour part-time, $16.59 par heure. Nous ka écrit sous email ivanev Navicore Solutions avec stl.org pour ou bien on ka relé autour pas gagner numéro téléphone mais si que nous relém là on ka chercher pour nous. All right, and also it looks like state troopers are looking to hire some state troopers. New Jersey is looking to hire state troopers they have a new salary range, which is higher than what it was before. They're actually doing a hiring fair. They're looking to employ new public safety telecommunicators trainees that they will assign to the following counties: Atlantic County, Mercer County, Middlesex, and Passaic County. So I don't see Monmouth County here, but Middlesex and Mercer are not that far away. If you're interested in becoming a public safety telecommunicator for New Jersey State Police, you're more than welcome to call me, and I will provide you with the phone number, which I'll give you right now. The phone number is 609-963-6900, extension 6792. And I will say this in Creole. Okay, so New Jersey State Police, y ap chache moun pou yo employe pou sécurité publique nan télécommunication. Ça veut dire que dispatch yo besoin. Moun sa yo employe yo nan county de Atlantic, Mercer, Middlesex, ensemble avec Passaic. Si ke nou gen intérêt nan sa, nous carrelé numéro de téléphone 609-963-6900, extension 6792. M'te dit non, c'est job fair qui a fait. You a fait job fair là samedi 20 janvier, 11h pour 1h30. Et puis, you by adresse c'est dans Hamilton Communication Center, the 1400 Negron Drive dans Hamilton, New Jersey. Ou pas besoin appliquer, ou simplement ou mettre à aller et puis l'arrivée ou appliquer là. All right, so if anyone's looking for, basic skills, learning, you want to know how to get your GED, you want information on how to obtain careers, you want help with job research, you can always go to the Neptune Township Workforce Developmental Center, which is located at 60 North Taylor Avenue in Neptune, or you can call phone number 732-683-8850, extension 6011. They're open Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Si ke gen moun kap chèche travail, nou bezwen formation pour nou ka jwenn travail. Si que nous besoin assistant chercher travail ou besoin écrire résumé ou pour qu'à joindre travail, ou bien si que vous besoin connaître information qui gens qui au ka recevoir GED. GED c'est un équivalent de diplôme high school. Si que vous besoin connaître qui gens pour faire ça, ou ka aller dans Neptune 60 North Taylor Avenue dans Neptune, ou bien le numéro de téléphone 732-683-8850, extension 71. Yo ouvri lundi à vendredi 8h30 pour 4h30. All right, so I think last week I told you guys about the workshop. So over the past week, I was able to contact a few pastors that I had phone numbers to. The pastors in our community, Haitian Creole speaking pastors in our community that I had phone numbers to. I was able to send you guys a text message via WhatsApp, along with the flyer inviting you to participate in this healthy relationship workshop being put on by Mercy Center in Asbury Park. It's going to be presented to you by Diola Prévillon. She is the CEO and founder of Elevate Her International, and it's part of Mercy Center's Keeping the Family Together program, which is funded by the state of New Jersey. So this is a really great workshop. It's being presented to you by a Haitian Creole speaking pastor and CEO, her own business. She owns her own business, Elevate Her, and she's also a licensed social worker. and a licensed therapist. So she's going to be presenting this February 8th, 2024, 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Zoom. The link is available on the flyer. If you are going to participate, we just ask that you RSVP so we can know, have a head count of who's going to be on the Zoom call. The phone number to do so is 908-677-5415. Again, it's 908-677-5415. And I hope you guys will take advantage of this workshop, which is going to be talking about the fundamentals of a healthy relationship and how to deal with traumatic, related issues. So it's good to partake in this because it's going to provide you with the tools that you need to deal with this very difficult topic that a lot of us go through, and a lot of us go through it and we suffer in silence. But this is giving opportunity and voice to the situations that you go through in private, and no one's going to air out their dirty laundry. They're just going to give you the tools and the resources that you need if you are dealing with something like this. And we invited the pastors because we know that you're leading your flock and you want good things for your congregations. Your congregation is going through these situations. They're dealing with relationships that may not be healthy. There's domestic violence. There's coercion and control going on in the family. There's neglect, there's abuse of all forms: sexual abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse, emotional, psychological abuse. There's so much things that we go through as human beings, and especially when we're in a relationship with people. And it's not just, romantic relationships that we're talking about. It could be a mother and daughter, or a mother and son, or uncles and nieces and things like that. So there's different kinds of relationships. So this workshop is going to talk about all of those types of issues and provide you with the tools and the resources and the skills that you need in order to help your congregation when they are going through something like this. They come to you to talk to you about it. You know what to say to them. You know how to direct them. You know where to send them so they can get the help that they need. And of course, all of this is confidential. So we hope that you heeded the message and that you are going to participate in this workshop on February 8, 2024, 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. And if you want to RSVP or you want to let us know that you're going to be joining in, please call 908-677-5415. Nous te un message by communauté, by pasteur, nous mettez sur Facebook, nous voyons sur WhatsApp, nous te voyons un flyer qui expliquait que Mercy Center de Asbury Park, ensemble avec Keeping Families Programme, ça c'est un programme de l'État de New Jersey, qui a mis un programme qui dit Relations en santé atelier. La présente baou de dire la prévention haïtienne liée, c'est social worker, c'est un thérapeute, c'est un pasteur. Et puis, il y a un business pal qui est Elevate Her International. C'est les mêmes qui ont mené un programme ça pour discuter fondamental dans une relation qui en santé fait face à problème qui ont rapport à traumatique. Ça veut dire que la baou information qui a besoin si que ou gagne mon dans congrégation qui a expérimenté qualité problème ça dans relation qui a gagné ou ka yo ka ba ou so besoin ressources que ou besoin information que ou besoin pour même ou ka partager ensemble avec yo les familles yo là ouais ou connaît en famille cap expériencer bagay ça aussi que nous voulons participer dans programme ça c'est sur Zoom lié de voyer flyer en bas un paquet pasteur qui me dégaine numéro téléphone yo m'a dit nous si que nous ta besoin link là mon cap côté yo nous ka relé radio et puis n'a ba tout. Si que nous voulons participer ou après les Mercy Center 908 677 54 15 908 677 54 15 pou ka di yo ke wap patisipe la dan. E pi se 8 février, 6h30 à 8h. 6h30 à 8h. 8 février, 6h30 à 8h, c'est dans Zoom liye. Ça veut dire que vous pas besoin quitter kayo, ou ka rete en de kayo, sous téléphone ou bien sous computer ou simplement toucher link qui a voyé ba ou et puis vous entrer là-dedans et puis vous avez toute information. So moi souhaite que nous participer dans ça. All right, so now we're going to get on with our topic. We're not going to be long-winded with it because we're going to be talking about thyroid. It's not really an exciting topic, but, you know, it's important. We need to discuss it. And then we're going to have some information about Martin Luther King Day, which is happening on Monday. And that'll be our program for today. But before we go on, we would like to congratulate Ebenezer Church of God of Prophecy on the inauguration of their newly constructed church building, which stands as a beacon of hope in the Neptune Asbury Park community. And I believe it's an inspiration and pride for all of us, you know, to have a Haitian church, to be able to construct and build such a beautiful church, a building right here in Neptune, very close to Asbury Park, for, you know, for their church. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful thing, and we are so happy that they were able to go through all of that, because it's not easy. It's very difficult to do, and they did it, and so we are very proud of them. So we want to congratulate them. So, and we also look forward to joining them in one of their worship services. And you guys, I don't know how else I can say it. We want everybody to come together. We want us to care and support one another. When one of us does well, that means we all do well, and we should all rejoice and support them in everything that they do, as long as it's for the good. And I believe it is for the good. Okay, so once more, congratulations to Bishop German Melzidor and all the pastors and congregants of Ebenezer Church of God of Prophecy. Nous voulons dire félicitations à l'Église Ebenezer, l'Église de Dieu des prophéties, parce qu'il a été inauguré nouveau building qui a été construit, yo même yo fait pour compte yo. Nous vraiment content, nous réjouissons ensemble avec yo pasteur Bishop Germain Mésidor, ensemble avec tout l'autre pasteur dans l'église là, ensemble avec tout congrégant, tout le monde dans l'église là, nous disons bon travail et puis Kembe là par la guerre continue bien fort dans Jésus. Amen. All right. So now we're going to talk about thyroid. Right? So I'm going to read to you some scenarios that happens to people. We're going to start off with the older population because, I mean, thyroidism affects a lot of people. It doesn't matter what age, but for the vast majority of people that go through this problem, they're older. Okay, so I'm going to read off some scenarios and then we'll explain it from there. Okay, from this point on, it's going to be in English because it's very difficult to translate from Creole for English and English to Creole, and it takes longer and we don't have a lot of time. So here's the first one. A 72-year-old woman with fluttering of the heart and vague chest discomfort on climbing stairs. Number 2 is an 80-year-old man with severe constipation who falls asleep often. Number 3 is a 65-year-old woman who has lost strength in her legs, causing difficulty in climbing stairs. She has recently lost 15 pounds in spite of very good appetite. Number 4 is a 75-year-old woman who has developed difficulty swallowing and dry cough accompanied by hoarseness, weight gain, and dry itchy skin. Number 5, a 78-year-old man with hearing loss. Number 6, an 84-year-old woman in whom a hand tremor has caused her to give up favorite activities. She is so depressed that she will not eat, and she has lost 12 pounds in the last 4 months. So what do all these people have in common? So all these patients have what's called abnormality of the function of their thyroid glands. So persons 1, 3, and 6 have what's called hyperthyroidism, which is an excessive production of thyroid hormones by their thyroid glands. Persons 2, 4, and 5 also have hyperthyroidism or reduced production of thyroid hormones. And while some of the symptoms of hyperthyroidism and hypothyroidism are similar to those in younger people, it is not uncommon for both hyperthyroidism and hypothyroidism to be manifested in subtle ways in older patients or people. And often it masquerades like a disease of the bowel or disorder of the nervous system. An important clue to the presence of the thyroid disease in elderly people is a history of thyroid disease in another close family member, such as a brother, sister, or child of that individual. So it's important to share your medical history with your family members. I don't know. I think a lot of us in the Black community, we like to suffer in silence. Not that we like it, we're just so prideful. We don't want to share like our private stuff with people. I get not sharing it with, strangers and with people for whom it is none of their business. But for your family members, like, come on, you should share that with your family members, because not only could it help save your life when you're incapacitated and you can't speak, and they take you to the doctor or you're at the hospital and they're asking family members questions about your health and they have no clue because you kept it to yourself. And now the doctors are in the dark. They don't know what to do for you. They don't know what your history is because you can't tell them, and your family members can't tell them because they don't know, because you didn't share. You didn't tell them what was going on with you. And not only can it help save your life, but it could also save the lives of your family members, so they can know what runs in their family history. I don't know how many times, I've gone to the doctor and they're always asking the question, does this run in your family? Does that run in your family? What does it look like? Like, does that run on your mother's side, on your father's side? Do you have any relatives living or deceased who went through this? These are the questions that they ask. They're always asking these questions because it's important, because if there was a family member that went through something like that, maybe they would know, like, it's generational, like it's in the genes, it's in the bloodline, it's in the family line. And it helps with research to know, like, where do these people come from and what's in the area, the environment that they grew up in, what's in the food that they're eating and what's in the water that they're drinking. It helps with research, and it helps, the medical professionals to know what to do. So I am going to say this in Creole. Na parle de thyroid, et puis nous t'a discuté que bagay sa yo kon nan race moun, nan famille moun. C'est vraiment important pour nous partager information de santé nous ensemble avec famille nous comprendre si que ou pas veut dire étranger ça qui arrive ou dans santé ou mais famille il faut que vous connaissez ça parce que l'hôpital ou pas parler et puis docteur vient poser question pour dire qui ça gagne qui ça arrivé qui qualité maladie qui gagne dans famille et puis monde qui là dans l'hôpital ensemble avec ou qui famille ou qui petit ou mari ou bien madame ou bien tonton cousine yo pas connait rien parce que ou pas jamais discuter ça ensemble avec yo. So c'est vraiment important peuple haïtien, famille nous yo, amis nous yo pour nous partager ensemble avec petit nous yo avec famille nous qui rive dans santé nous pour yo ka aider nous et puis yo même tout pour yo ka joindre aide les que yo même yo commencer expériencer même symptômes que yo gagne yo pour yo ka di oh oui maman me gen ça oh oui grand-mère change l'été comme ça et puis il a parlé docteur ça et puis docteur apprend qui ça pour yo faire il va bon pour nous pas discuter ça parce qu'il a sauvé la vie pas nous et il a sauvé la vie petite nous avec l'autre petite nous yo. So here are some facts about thyroid gland disease. Thyroid is a hormone producing gland that regulates the body's metabolism, the rate at which the body produces energy from nutrients and oxygen and affects critical body functions such as energy levels and heart rate. So the thyroid is located in the middle of the lower neck. So it's right there in your neck, in the middle, towards the bottom. Okay? Like if you try to swallow, like you feel like that area right there where it's going down, that's your thyroid. Okay? It's small. It produces hormones that influences the cell tissue and the organs in the body. Okay? Now, hypothyroidism that we're talking about is a condition where the thyroid gland does not produce enough thyroid hormone. We can't win. So sometimes it's producing too much, sometimes it's not producing enough. Lord have mercy. That's all we can say. Okay, so symptoms for that is like extreme fatigue, or you end up having depression, forgetfulness, or weight gain. Okay, and then there's hyperthyroidism, which is another disease of the thyroid, and it's a condition causing the gland to produce too much thyroid. And the symptoms for that is irritability, nervousness, muscle weakness, unexplained weight loss, sleep disturbances, vision problems, and eye irritation. And then there's something called Graves' disease, which is a type of hyperthyroidism. It's an autoimmune disorder, okay, which is genetic, meaning it runs in your family line, okay? But this one, it affects about 1% of the population. Okay, so 12% of the US population will develop thyroid condition during their lifetime. So 12% of us, all of us in the US, will develop this. We're not claiming it. We don't want to claim anything that's not good, okay? We want to claim everything good. Everything that is good, we claim, okay? We're not claiming any diseases or illnesses or anyone. But studies show that about 12% of the US population will develop this condition, okay? So an estimated 20 million Americans have some form of thyroid disease. Up to 60% of those with thyroid disease are unaware that they have this condition. Women are 5 to 8 times more likely than men to have thyroid problems. 1 woman in 8 will develop thyroid disorder during her lifetime. Most thyroid cancer respond to treatment, although a small percentage can be very aggressive. The causes of thyroid problems are largely unknown, so they have no idea why it happens for the most part. Undiagnosed thyroid disease may put patients at risk for certain serious conditions such as cardiovascular disease, osteoporosis, and infertility. So, di kon sa ke le moun gen problem nan thyroid, maladie thyroid lan, ou ka kon developpe maladie nan cœur, maladie nan zo, et puis infertilité, ça veut dire ou ka fait ti moun. Okay, pregnant women with undiagnosed or inadequately treated by hypothyroidism have an increased risk of miscarriage, preterm delivery, and severe developmental problems in their children. Most thyroid disease are lifelong conditions that can be managed through medical treatment. So there is a question as to whether or not there's a link between autoimmune thyroid disease and like, are those people who have this condition, like, are they more at risk for contracting the COVID infection that's out there, coronavirus, that disease that's out there, which recently has flared up. Like a lot more people are now contracting it, although it had died a little bit. Now it's the flu season, so people are getting COVID again. So the Center for Disease Control advises that people who are immunocompromised are at higher risk of severe illness from COVID-19. So immunocompromised people have a weaker immune system that have a harder time fighting infections. Because your immune system is weak, of course, if you get an infection, you're going to have more difficulty in combating that infection because you're working from a position of weakness in terms of your immune system. Okay. However, the immune system is complex. Having autoimmune thyroid disease does not mean that a person is immunocompromised or will be unable to fight off a viral infection. So there's no like real proof that says that people with autoimmune thyroid disease are at greater risk, but you should know anyone with some sort of low immune system or an immune system that doesn't function properly, like it's common sense. Like if you have that condition, then you get sick, you're at higher risk for contracting any other diseases because your body is not equipped with what it needs to be able to fight off germs and diseases and stuff like that. So the thyroid gland is like a butterfly shaped endocrine gland that is normally located in the lower front of your neck, and its job is to make thyroid hormones, which are secreted into the blood and then carried to every tissue in the body. The thyroid hormones help the body to use energy, to stay warm, to keep the brain, keep the heart, keep the muscles, and all the other organs working as they should. So if your thyroid is out of control or it's got like, let's just say it's a little bipolar, it doesn't know if it wants to be like slow, if it wants to be fast, or if it's not like even, then you're gonna start to see like these issues with your brain, with your heart, with your muscles and your other organs. So that could lead to a lot of other issues in our bodies. So it's important to when you go to the doctor that they check, when the doctor's like touching your neck, that's what he's looking for. He's looking to see like if there's an issue there with the thyroid, because a lot of the diseases can stem from that. Okay, so here are the symptoms of hyperthyroidism. You have increased sweating, feeling hot, feeling like your heart is racing or beating irregularly. You have hand tremors, you have anxiety, nervousness, irritability, weight loss despite normal or even increase in appetite. So that means you're eating fine, and you're probably eating too much, but yet you're losing weight. Frequent bowel movements or diarrhea, difficulty sleeping, you have hair loss, you have changes in your menstrual periods, like it's too light or too heavy, trouble swallowing, or fullness in the neck, increase or decrease levels of energy. You have pain behind your eyes or swelling or bulging of your eyes. But remember, everybody's different, so these symptoms can be manifested differently in people. Okay, so I just want to provide you with a summary. So when your doctor performs your physical exam, they are examining your thyroid for enlargement or for nodules. Okay, they're looking for signs to see if it's too much thyroid hormone, like fast heart rate, shakiness, tremors of the hands, warm and moist skin. They're looking for signs of eye disease, like redness, swelling, or bulging of the eyes. They're checking your blood levels for thyroid hormones, okay, to see if it's too high or too low. They're doing lab tests, okay, to check for the hypothyroidism, which is usually showing that it's too high. Or they order images like ultrasounds, or they can do scans, okay, which can help determine why your thyroid is making too much thyroid hormone. Okay, so my summary is thyroid disorders have no age limits, okay? Hyperthyroidism is clearly more common in older people than in younger people. Despite the increased frequency of thyroid problems in older individuals, doctors need a high index of suspicion to make the diagnosis. So they're not just gonna say it like that. They need to run these tests that we just talked about and to see the symptoms in order for them to diagnose you with having this problem before they start giving you medication or treatment for it. Okay, older patients with thyroid disorders require special attention, okay, to gradual and careful treatment. and as always require lifelong follow-up. So that means if your doctor is suspicious that you may have this condition and eventually diagnoses you with this condition, they're always going to be checking for this for the rest of your life, which is a good thing, you know. So that was my snippet information, because we're talking about health and wellness on second Saturdays. And so I wanted to bring thyroidism to your attention, something to look out for when you go to your doctor. Everyone should be going to the doctor at least once a year, okay? And women, we have some other appointments that we need to do at least once a year, and you know what they are. And then your doctor should be doing your blood work, you know, taking your blood pressure and stuff like that. When you go, some people go every 6 months, but you know, the rule is at least once a year. Okay, so, and then if you're a certain age, you need to have your colonoscopies and all that stuff that you're supposed to have by those markers. So take care of yourself, okay? Because you're an adult. It's not like your child anymore where your parents would make the appointment and make you go. So you're responsible. So if you don't go, you know, your doctor's office is not going to say, hey, you didn't come. Sometimes they do, but they're too busy. They're not going to do that for the most part. So you have to make sure that you go. And I know a lot of people say, oh, I was fine until I went to the doctor, and now they're telling me I have this. Well, that's because you already had the thing and you didn't know because you never went to the doctor. So it's not going to the doctor that made you sick. You were already sick, and the doctor just helped you figure it out what was wrong, okay? So I encourage you guys to schedule appointments. Oh, and dental work. That's another thing. You guys should do that every 6 months. Okay. And if you don't have health insurance, you can apply for Obamacare or for NJ Family Health. That's like Medicaid for the younger folks. There's no excuse, no reason why people should not see a doctor at least once a year. Okay. So I encourage you to do that so you can know where you stand in terms of your health, and so that you could be around a little bit longer and live a life, you know, where you're feeling good in your body, so that you can enjoy life, because we need to enjoy life while we're on earth and before we leave the earth, right? So our children can enjoy us and we can enjoy them in good health. All right, so I hope you were able to hear that and do something about your health today. All right, so on Monday, we're going to celebrate Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And it's funny, I chose a quote not from Martin Luther King because he had a whole bunch of quotes, but I thought this one was really good. And it wasn't from Martin Luther King. It's from former President George H.W. Bush, because he's the founder of the Points of Light. And he says, we can find meaning and reward by serving some higher purpose than ourselves, a shining purpose, the illumination of 1,000 points of light. We all have something to give. And I agree with that. We all have something to give. God put us on this earth, and he didn't put you on this earth to waste space, right? He put you on this earth and he gave you a purpose. I think last week we asked you to pray and to ask God, what is your purpose for being here? And what can you do? So some of us know exactly what our purpose is and we go after it, you know, because we feel fulfilled. We feel like, okay, we're living up to the expectations, you know, of what God would want us to do. And because we feel good about it, we're helping people and stuff like that. And some of us have no clue. So it's important for you to find out why you're on this earth at this moment in time. And what do you have to offer? Because I believe we all have something to offer. Even if it's the way you say good morning to someone, or the smile, you know, smile at someone, or, you know, you see an elderly person carrying something heavy and you help them by, you know, carrying the heavy load for them, or you give some kind words of encouragement to someone, you know, or you have a listening ear where someone can come talk to you about situations, and you don't necessarily have to offer advice. You're just talking to them, and or they're talking to you, and you just listen, because sometimes that's all people need, is for someone to listen to them. Or you keep someone company, even if you're not talking, you're just sitting with them. These are all good things, and it could be your purpose. You don't have to be like the president of the United States. That's not what we're talking about when we say find your purpose, But I believe Martin Luther King found his purpose. That's why we're talking about this. He found his purpose. And today I'm going to give you the timeline of his life. I hope I can get through this because I want you to listen to his speech. So really quickly, on Monday, we're going to celebrate Martin Luther King Jr.'s day, his birthday. So there are some ways that people would normally celebrate this day. People normally volunteer. They find a way to live out MLK is what he's called, his acronyms, his legacy, by volunteering, by listening and learning from other people, by voting, by using your purchasing power. Okay, that's very important. Your purchasing power. You guys don't know, Black America spent a lot of money in, as consumers in a nation. You guys have a lot of purchase power. Whereas other people save their money, you guys spend your money. So if you're going to be spending your money, find meaningful businesses to spend your money in. Find businesses that support your community to spend your money in, as opposed to spending it on other things and other businesses that could care less about your community. Okay, we'll talk about that in detail another time, but your purchasing power, use it wisely on MLK Day. Social entrepreneurship, find something to talk about. It could be a nonprofit or something, some sort of cause to engage your time in that's going to be to the betterment of your community. Okay, work. A lot of people worked very hard, fought with their lives for you to be able to work and to vote. Okay, so go to work. If you're living and breathing, you're able-bodied, you can work, okay? And like we said in the beginning of the program, work and then open up your own business. It's still work, but at least you're your own boss, okay? And then have a voice or give voice to your community, meaning there are some people that are not able to speak out. You could be the voice. Just like Martin Luther King was the voice for the Black nation. And, you're going to hear his voice in a few minutes. Donate your time, donate your money, donate your resources, and then serve, okay? Even the Bible says that, the Bible wants us to serve others, not ourselves. Okay, serve God and then serve others. That is the way to be. So he was born on January 15th, 1929, to Reverend and Mrs. Martin Luther King Sr. He was born in Atlanta, Georgia. He graduated Booker T. Washington High School. He was admitted to Morehouse College at the age of 15. Wow, that's awesome. And this is back in 1944. Okay, in 1948, he graduates Morehouse and enters Crozer Theological Seminary. He was ordained as a minister at the age of 19 in 1948. In 1951, he enters Boston University and did his graduate studies. In 1953, he married Coretta Scott and settled in Montgomery, Alabama. 1955, he received a doctorate in philosophy. Okay, this is at the Systematic Theological Boston University. He did his dissertation. We're not going to get into all of that. 1956, on November 13th, the Supreme Court rules that the bus segregation is illegal. Okay, because, I forgot to tell you, because he was arrested on December 1st in 1955 because he took part in the boycotting of the buses. Okay, so then November 13th, 1956, a year later, it was ruled illegal, segregating the buses. Okay, 1957, he formed the Christian Leadership. And then this is when he spoke his famous "I Have a Dream" speech to 15,000 people in Washington, D.C. 1958, the U.S. Congress passed the first Civil Rights Act, Reconstruction. Okay, 1959, visited India to study Gandhi's philosophy on nonviolence. That was his thing. He didn't want people fighting. Okay, 1960, he becomes co-pastor with his father at the Ebenezer Baptist Church in Atlanta, Georgia. 1961, the Interstate Commerce Commission banned segregation, okay, due to the work of Martin Luther King. 1962, during unsuccessful Albany, Georgia movement, he was arrested and jailed. 1963, on a Good Friday, he was arrested again. Okay, on January 3rd, he appeared on the cover of Time magazine as the Man of the Year. Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know that. 1965, he was arrested in Selma. Remember that for the voting rights demonstration? They call that Bloody Sunday, I do believe, because it happened on a Sunday, and there was massacre that happened on the bridge there. 1966, on January 22nd, he moves into a Chicago slum tenement to attract attention to living conditions of the poor. 1967, the Supreme Court upholds the conviction of MLK by a Birmingham court of demonstration without a permit. They arrested him for demonstrating without a permit. That's ridiculous. Okay. And on 1968, at sunset on April 4th, Martin Luther King Jr. was fatally shot while standing on the balcony of the Lorraine Motel in Memphis, Tennessee. There were riots and disturbances in 130 American cities. There were 20,000 arrests. King's funeral happened on April 9th, and it was an international event. Within a week of assassination, the Open House Act is passed by Congress. On November 2nd in 1986, a national holiday is proclaimed in King's honor. And today, on his honor, I would like to play for you his famous "I Have a Dream" speech.
I have the pleasure to present to you Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. I am happy to join with you today in what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation. Five score years ago, a great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This momentous decree came as a great beacon light of hope to millions of Negro slaves who had been seared in the flames of withering injustice. It came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of their captivity. But 100 years later, the Negro still is not free. 100 years later, the life of the Negro is still sadly crippled by the manacles of segregation and the chains of discrimination. 100 years later, the Negro lives on a lonely island of poverty. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will they be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day, even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream. My 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day, down in Alabama, with its vicious racists, with its governor having his lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification. One day right there in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today. Exalted. And every hill and mountain shall be made low, the rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight, and the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. This is our hope. This is the faith that I go back to the South with. With this faith, we will be able to hew out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope. With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. This will be the day when all of God's children be able to sing with new meaning, my country, tears of thee. Sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. And if America is to be a great nation, this must become true. And so let freedom ring. From the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire, let freedom ring. From the mighty mountains of New York, let freedom ring. From the heightening Alleghenies of Pennsylvania, let freedom ring. From the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado, let freedom ring. From the curvaceous slopes of California. But not only that, let freedom ring from Stone Mountain of Georgia. Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and molehill of Mississippi, from every mountainside. Let freedom ring, and when they happen, when we allow freedom ring, when we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, free at last, thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
all can agree that raising a family in these times is challenging. With everything being so exposed and accessible through social media and the influence that come along with it, how do we find the balance?
Does your child feel confined and has no outlet?
Sasha, meet me in the bathroom so we can take our Instagram pics, because you know once I get home they won't let me out.
Would your child come to you when they need help?
Mom, I'm in trouble and I don't know what to do.
Do you know the signs when your child is crying out for help?
Nicholson, you don't listen. The school has called me and now I have to attend another school meeting. This time you lose your video games for 2 months.
Do you and your family need access to resources?
I lost my job. How will we get our bills paid?
Does your family have expectations and boundaries for mutual respect and understanding?
I am the man of the house, but my family does not respect me.
Finally, a show where families can feel supported and get resources for guidance during these troubled times. Presented to you by Good News Community Action. Family Matters, a radio show, aired every Saturday afternoon from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. A new segment discussing all things and situations relating to families. Family Matters Discussions, a radio show for everyone to listen together.
This is WYGG 88.1 FM, Asbury Park.